everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees, and here I am, and it is now mid-October, almost mid-October. What is in season, and what should people be planting if you're planting fruit trees and what you want to plant. This here is a tree that I actually have in a pot, because I ran out of room of things to plant. And I've had this here before, I'll put a link below. This is called a Jujube. Also, it's like an apple. It's an amazing fruit. And you can grow it in a pot. So this one's growing in a pot and it's starting to flower. It's starting to flower. Now this tree here is an amazing tree. If you let this grow, it will be one of the biggest trees in your yard. But you can keep it short. And every year after it fruits, I'll cut it back. And so there's no fruit on it yet. We still got a little while to go, but it's literally like an apple. And the reason why this is amazing is you pretty much can't grow apples here in South Florida. But if you pick this at the right time, it's the most sweetest, delicious apple you've ever tasted. And it's quite contained here in a pot and looking nice and starting to flower. But I'm going to show you what it looks like in the ground. And something interesting that I never realized. So this will grow really tall, this tree, but if you keep cutting it, it's not going to grow tall and you'll still get a good amount of fruit. So we're going to come here and check out this tree that I have. The tree literally looks like it's growing sideways. So it's not my favorite tree because it's more like a snack than a meal. But this is the tree here. And as you can see on this tree, I actually have a jackfruit tree growing up in the middle of that, which is a seedling that started growing and I left there. But as you can see in this tree, taking apart this half right here, this tree is growing and it's flowering tremendously. You see the flowers there? This tree would grow straight up and take over and be really big. But what happened here was in the way it was growing, it started growing sideways. I didn't plan that, but it just happened to be I put this tree here because this is my neighbor's yard and they allowed me to put a tree, and I didn't want a tree that was going to grow too tall because I didn't want it shading out stuff in my yard. And I wanted something that people won't take because they don't know about it, so I figured the Jujube, because the apples are actually green and people don't know how to pick them and they kind of sour if you don't pick them at the right time. But the tree is growing sideways. Check that out. So it's filling out all this other space in my neighbor's property, which he doesn't mind. But wow. So imagine this tree if it was turned up, how tall it would be. But it's here growing sideways, and just look how many flowers are on here. So I don't recommend, unless you have a lot of room, to plant it like this. And I didn't plant it like this, but it's almost like two trees growing. I have this tree growing sideways, and I have that tree growing up. So as you can see again, normally, if it was just this side, it wouldn't be taking up too much space because I keep cutting it every year. But I haven't cut the sides. And wow. So this tree pretty much is going to be loaded with fruit here in a little while. Loaded with fruit. And what's really cool that this is growing sideways is it's all waist high. So you could easily pick these fruits off the tree. Whereas if it was just growing up, you'd have to wait for them to come down. And why is that important, everybody? Because this tree, and this is important for those of you that have a Jujube, if you get it at the right time, it's like the sweetest apple you've ever tasted. But if you don't pick it at the right time, it's just like a sour apple. So if this tree is growing straight up, and you shake the tree for them to come down, or you pull a bunch down, it's difficult to pick them. But when it's like this, it's so easy to pick the fruit because you can examine each one. You can examine the perfect time and when it is to get. I love this tree. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with the other tree, because as much as I love this tree, this is one of my only trees that survived that's not a fulfilling fruit. It's just a snack. Those of you that watch me know I'm not here for snacks. I want trees that are really going to fill me up, and these little apples are a snack, but I've never had this many before, so maybe it will be a meal. I've never had the tree grow like this before, so maybe it will be, but this is one of the last trees. I have one other tree that's more like a snack than a meal, but I want to get apples here in Florida, so I think it's a wonderful tree to have, and most people should consider getting one of those in your yard. So I'm kind of experimenting with the one in the pot to see how that'll grow. This is a great tree to plant in front of a house because, again, especially if you have a lot of walk-by traffic, because most people don't know what it is. So, and it's in season in the winter, which is another important thing, because, you know, there's so many summer fruits out, but that is a winter fruit. Here's another winter fruit, Aki, Sapodilla. A lot of different things, and to learn what time things are in season and not is pretty cool. All right, so I wanted to show you all that, and here is miracle fruit. Miracle fruit's back. Love miracle fruit. Star fruit tree is loaded. Star apple tree is growing really nice and big. But look at the star fruit tree. Loaded. Loaded. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you today, the Jujube, and when those fruits are out, I'll show you again. Remember, I'm going to put a link to the video of the last time I had that tree on. I'll put a link to the video so you can see more of that and see how that fruit looks. And when it's ready, I'll show you that this year on that. And not yet sure about this one here. This is the one that's in the pot. And then I got this here. I did a short about this yesterday. I'll put a link below. This is a Kwai Muck tree. Kwai Muck. I did a video about this yesterday, a short. And I tasted my first one finally, and I have this tree. This tree is a snack. This tree is not going to be a fulfilling food. But I have this nice looking tree that I think I'm going to sell because I don't have room for it. So if any of you are in South Florida interested in a nice Kwai Muck tree, just contact me. And you can get this thing in the ground. All right? All right, everybody. I'll put your comments and questions below if you've tasted the Jujube tree, what you think of it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everybody, and keep growing.